Yo, I'm back. I'm the Foul Hooked Whitey. I have, so far in my short career in this podcast, I have my first illustrious guest.
Illustrious.
Illustrious, I don't even really know what that fucking means, but it means something good.
I like the tone.
Well, I like the fact that that you're here because, this is to my audience of nobody, zero. This is Rich Hohne, and Mr. Hohne, go ahead and introduce yourself, please, sir, and tell us what you do.
I am currently the CMO, the Chief Marketing Officer at Skwala.
That's
which
great.
Is a technical apparel brand based out just down the road over in Bozeman. And good to cruise out here and talk to you.
I think well, thank you. It's an honor, and I do mean that. Before we get into your career and what led you to where you're at and all that stuff, it's right now. I'm just going to say it right off the bat. Skwala is like they're like an egg breaker.
Yeah, we've been disrupting a little bit of things.
You're
right?
an egg breaker.
Yeah, and that's part of what we wanted to do.
And what I love about that and the connection to East Rosebud and Skwala, which is I'm a dealer, but it's happening over a period of time. I'm an egg breaker too.
I know. That's why I like this union.
That's right. And so, this kind of just happened because I'll give you my little Skwala history, if that's okay. Mm-hmm. About 4 years ago.
About 3.5 years ago we launched.
Okay, so 3.5, 4 years ago, I get a reach out from somebody that I had dealt with Sims, which is a guy by the name of John Yusko.
Yep.
And Yusko was an early advocate of Skwala, correct?
Yep, big part of our family.
Oh yeah, and Yusko is all fucking business.
All the time.
Scary.
Mm-hmm. He's good at it.
The first time I ever talked to John Yusko was obviously trying to get with another vendor, and he fucking scared me on the phone, and I never saw him.
Yeah.
So you had a good point guy to get your brand, which was up and coming. And go ahead and give me a little bit of your professional background in the sport, because I'm ready to rant here and I'm ready to go off. So go ahead,
certainly.
sir.
My background starts in 1994. I decided I'm going to move up to Montana from the summer. I just graduated college in Los Angeles, California, where I grew up. And
you grew up in LA?
Yeah, I grew up in LA. I moved up here for the summer and have been here 31 years now. And 1996, through some folks I knew, I got a job working in a fly fishing lodge. And the reason I moved up to Montana was to go fishing.
Okay.
And worked as a guide and sort of management of the lodge for 3 or 4 years, and then moved into the outdoor industry up in Big Sky and more of the ski world.
Okay.
And then had an 11-year run over at Sims, and that was really a pretty important part of my career. Started in 2008 there, and all the way up to running the brand of Sims until I left in 2019.
Wow! So you ran Sims?
I ran the brand of Sims the last couple of years I was there, and along with a great team that I was proud to serve with, and then went over to a little company called Oboe's Footwear, which is a trail shoe brand, for 3 years. Okay. All the while, my good friend Kevin Sloan, who's the CEO and founder of Skwala, started this notion of Skwala and pulled me in the moments before COVID, the few days before COVID launched, and I've been a part of it ever since.
Okay, so and so the Skwala owner is
it's Kevin Sloan.
Kevin Sloan. Now I've met Kevin. I think once or twice, and I don't know Kevin, but I'm gonna step out on a limb here and say Kevin has got the biggest set of nuts in the entire sport of fly fishing.
Yeah, Kevin is a guy
massive nuts.
Yeah, he has some guts, right? He's very confident in what he knows that he can do and the team can do, and he is pretty close to fearless as anybody I've worked with.
He would have to be fearless, and I mentioned this prior to us coming into the studio to talk. There's no harder category to break into when it comes to equipment, merchandise, elements of what we need to execute the sport of fly fishing. There's nothing ballsier than getting into the wader and boot business.
Yes.
Fuck. I mean, right?
It is. They are incredibly
complicated.
Yes.
And also miles of room for error.
Yep.
Meaning you can F that up bad.
Yes.
Because, somebody buys a fly rod, they either know what they're doing with it or they don't.
Yeah, it breaks or it doesn't.
But if it doesn't break, that's kind of where it ends.
Yes.
Waders can fail.
Yes.
And when waders fail, there's no gray area.
Right. You're wet.
You're wet. Right? And so for me, I've been in the sport for 17, 18 summers, and, you know, the entire time been a Sims dealer, obviously. And I can't believe I'm saying this, but Skwalla seems to have cracked the code.
I think, I can remember when Kevin talked to me first about wanting to do this. I said, you're gonna come out with waders right out of the gate, and you said, yeah, of course. And in order to be a legitimate fly fishing brand, that's what you do, and that's kind of the mantra of how we think about things. That if you're gonna try to be the best, which is what we think about all the time, you've got to do the things that the best people do, and one is make a statement, come out with the best waders you know how to make, and see if you can disrupt this industry and with truly great gear.
I think you are disrupting it because you got me to buy it.
Yeah,
right.
That's right.
And you know, and I've said it before, but the reality of it is that what made Skwalla think that they could take on Sims, and I'm not going to drop Sims's name in the course of this interview because it's about Skwalla.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line. But in the course of my retailing in a fly shop, I've had Patagonia waders. I've had Orvis waders, right? A couple of other B, C brands when I first started, whatever. But like, none of those brands have even chipped the rock of you know who. And Skwalla is.
I think so, and I think it starts. The first thing that Kevin and I talked about when we were mountains walking in March of 2020 is he said, everything is the same. That if you walk into a fly shop, and when he was doing this stuff 17, 18, 19, 20, that everything looked the same and felt the same, and there wasn't a push for innovation. And if you know how to innovate and you're looking at an industry that lacks innovation, that to us was an opportunity.
It's easy to get lazy.
Yeah.
And it's easy to get complacent when you're on top. I'm a fucking pro at it.
Yes.
Okay. All right. I'm just making the point that in the context of this conversation, again, Skwalla taking on some heavies. I mean, you know, you look at Patagucci. I mean, you know, I've never really felt like they've made the greatest wader, but let's face it, there's no shortage of funds behind it.
Exactly right.
Right? You know, the R&D department could be 900 rooms.
Yes. Yes.
They can fund anything.
It's massive.
Massive. And here I see Skwalla, which started almost like a grassroots idea as far as doing something different in the industry.
Yep.
And you got somebody like me to turn their head towards it. Right? And I think for me, and I told you this when you first came in this morning, I'm just blown away at how much of the apparel I'm seeing on customers.
Yeah.
So what's the deal with the sportswear?
So the sportswear, I mean, we're known for a lot of things, but I think one of the things that are best-selling SKUs from a unit count are our sportswear, right? Our sole wading pants, which are an unbelievable product that starts at the fabric level and is the best travel / wet wading / flats pant you've ever worn.
I think so.
And when they come in here, people are going to run and grab every color. They're nice. Very nice.
They're nice.
And Sun hoodies, attention to detail, how you make the hood, how you build the hood, how your thumb holes are. We are... I mean, I'm not just, every brand says this, but I can tell you I've been part of some really good ones, and I've never seen a company and a team more obsessed on the minutia than we are at Skwalla about every little thing having a reason for being. Also, some things that when they come in here and they look at something, they go, oh, that makes sense. And that's the takeaway we want is like, these people have thought about this stuff. Also, these people are anglers, and they actually know why gear needs to exist and why it needs to do what it does.
Yeah.
And that's what people take away is they go, man, these guys, you guys must fish. And I'm like, well, of course we do. We're in the fly fishing industry. They said, but I can just tell
that's a big
how
deal.
Your stuff works.
That's a big deal, though.
Yeah.
You know, the idea that there's some individuals that represent companies in our sport out there that don't actively fish, to me, 100%. Is just fucking weird. Like, I mean... You know, you have to be passionate about this, and you have to be all behind this, and that's what I've seen with Skwalla. So besides the exposure in my shop of seeing a lot of the sportswear on folks, you guys have really done a superb job of marketing.
Oh, thanks.
I mean, I'm old, so I'm still on Facebook.
Sure.
Okay? I see Skwalla every time I scroll.
Yeah. By design,
Well,
you're part of our target. Yeah.
That's a big deal. The reason that's a big deal to me is because as somebody who's a dealer now, you're showing me that you're creating the buzz and you're spending the money to get those consumers to walk into my shop and ask me if I have Skwalla.
Yep.
That's huge because, some vendors out there kind of expect you to sell it because of me, because of the retailer.
Yes.
That's not how it works.
No, how it works is you create buzz so that all the channels rise and that people come in and they say, God, I've been keep hearing this stuff. Now I'm seeing this stuff. Where is it in your store? Where can I go and get it? And that's what we're seeing across the U.S. in our wholesale market. And it's not always about buy this, buy this, buy this. If you also follow our brand, you'll know that like last week we did a post on guilty fly pleasures, which is something that would resonate kind of with the brand here at East Rosebud. Yes. Like it was like, what are those flies that we all sort of wince when we put on, but we know we're going to crush fish?
Yeah.
And having those conversations with our customer base and our fans and our audience and our retailers, bringing them in to the Skwala Lounge, which is sort of our resource for all these sort of cultural things, because we're in this to sell widgets and everybody wants to sell widgets, but we're also in this because our hearts say there's nothing else I want to do.
Well, and I like how you use the C word, right?
Yep.
Cultural.
Yep.
Because that's really what this is.
Yes.
I mean, it really is. It's to get a consumer away from a brand that has literally led the industry for a couple decades, decade and a half, whatever it's been.
At least, yeah.
To get a buzz about a new waiter company, a new sportswear company, a new boot company, in my opinion, I'm just going to come out and say it, is fucking impossible.
It's very tough. And from the outset, we said we needed to do two things. One is you have to start with the best gear in the world. You just can't be the best if you don't make the best. So we're obsessive on that. The other thing is we want to be the choice of people that they want to hang out with us. They want to read our stuff. They want to come see what's new from us. They want to see us at retailers. They know we're in only the best shops. We're not in every single store that has a hook and a peg.
Thank God.
And we want the people to understand that we are of their culture, that we're part of it. We don't run it. We don't oversee it. We're actually in the culture with them. We're next to them on the water. And those two things in parallel have been really powerful and really fun to sort of build up on a daily basis and try to create this new thing that it feels, at least from our perspective, feels really authentic.
So how many waiter models does Skwalla produce for, let's say, spring of 26?
For spring of 26, we'll have 3 waiter models.
Okay,
the RS, Back-Eddy, and Carbon. And they all have a different point of view. So they don't, it's not what's the cheap one, what's the expensive one. This is a type of angling that I'm going to do. So if someone comes into our showroom, and we'll coach you on this too, about when they come in and they say, I want to look at Skwalla waders, the first question is, what are you going to do with it? Are you going to be a guy that fishes the bighorn from May through September? Then you probably want to be in the Carbon wader. You're going to be going to Alaska a lot, or BC steelhead trips, probably the RS. Are you a fishing guide and you want like a lot of storage and you like knee pad? Probably want to be in the Back-Eddy. So not just a wader to make a price point, but a wader to make a point of view and to have something that's a tool that has a reason for being, and it's not just because it's to sell widgets.
Okay. So what are your Skwalla wader price points?
So Skwalla waders for right now, they're at $850, $700, and $550.
Okay.
And those are going up a little bit for 2026.
Yeah.
We haven't really
I was going to ask
those
you,
at all.
I was going to ask you. I was going to ask you if the tariff thing has impacted Skwalla.
The tariff thing has impacted us. Yes, I think it's impacted every business that makes things.
But you're going to eat some of it.
We're going to eat some of it, and we also haven't raised pricing on hardly anything since we've been out. So we're actually due for pricing regardless of the tariffs.
Okay.
So we'll be seeing increases for next year. We don't think they're egregious. We're not using the tariff thing is what it is, but it's also just things get more expensive every year regardless of tariffs.
They do. And obviously Skwalla represents themselves as a top tier wader company.
Yes.
So it's I hate to break it to folks, but top tier is not $299.95 anymore. That's all over with.
No, that was the 80s.
That's correct.
Yeah.
So it's good. And as far as your boot lineup, Talk to me about that.
We have the boot. We have the RS boot and the carbon boot. Those came out both in April and have been getting rave reviews and are really, really awesome boots. Same thing. Like if you need burly wading conditions and you're really going to those crazy, a lot more aggressive wading scenarios, then you want the RS. And if you like the light hiker inspired, you really hit the trail and you're hiking up a lot, then you want to be in that carbon. So everything has a reason for being.
So, and both boot styles are available in felt and rubber?
Just rubber right now.
We're
working on some felt options. We'll be for 26.
Okay, you are going to do felt.
Yeah, we have some notions there. We've got to figure a couple things out, and we don't, we want to make sure anything that comes out with the Skwala name on it's got to be the best that we can do at the time, and so we're in the trenches on that.
Is felt tricky?
It is the way we make our boots.
Okay.
In particular, the way the construction terminology is double lasting, which you see in a lot of alpine environments. We get a lot of inspiration from just alpine environments, and that structure makes felt a little bit harder.
Do you think that Skwala's rubber boots have to be cleated?
No, I think if it depends where you're fishing.
Yeah.
Right. I was fishing. We just got back from a really fun trip in Iceland, which was great.
Yeah.
And
it's on my bucket list.
Yeah, and there was some days I needed cleats, but only a few of them.
Okay.
It just depends where you're wading and what the substrate is. Rivers are really fast and a lot of slime and things like that. I'd want studs. But that traction is really good on those boots.
Okay. Well, yeah, and it's one of those things where with me again talking the boot business.
Yep.
I would say rubber in my shop is probably 4-to-1, 5-to-1.
Yeah. I think for Montana, it's a more versatile.
Okay. And I just sell a lot more rubber.
Yes.
But rubber also has its risks, especially as a new manufacturer. Only because you don't have the history of really, failing to get better.
Yeah. It is all about partners, right? So we're working with Vibram, and we've worked with a proprietary lug build and architecture, physical architecture. So we think that that's giving us an advantage over anything else that's out there in Vibram, and obviously stud compatible. I've worn them without studs probably 90% of the days I've been in them, and I think the traction is really good.
Okay.
Yeah.
So with your wader lineup, your boot lineup, and we'll cover this in episode 2, but directionally, your other category is sportswear.
Sportswear. We have insulation and sportswear and outerwear.
Okay, got it. All right. So we'll cover that in episode 2.
Yep.
I'm with Mr. Rich Hohne from Skwala. This is the Foul Hooked Whitey. Out.